Hey everyone, it's Oakley, and we'll be doing some Warhammer 2 online battles, continuing to just play in quick matches, etc. So I'm playing Skrolk with Clan Pestilence here. Always kind of bring this same general composition. We're going to be playing against Chaos, which can be pretty formidable if they bring some of their big beasties. They can take you out. So for instance, Skrolk Sun Eater is going to be pretty powerful. Even Chaos Knights can land some pretty strong punches. Same thing with the Dire Packs. These things would love to just snap up and devour all the little ratlings. His main line is also pretty tanky. Got some Chaos Warriors with halberds and a front line of, ooh, Chosen, my god. That is going to put the fear, oh, and Forsaken. Yeah, so this is going to put the fear of whatever the Skavens are scared of in their hearts, in their little beating hearts. I guess they're scared of everything. But yeah, Chaos Gods probably scare them the most. But yeah, this is a pretty beefy front line. So we'll go ahead and see what I have to counter this. So generally what I do when I bring Skaven with this build, Lord Skrolk is going to be here, and he has a couple different buffs that he can do. So the first one, or I guess kind of like bound spells. So first going to be Liber Bobonicus. This one is direct damage. Does a lot of damage on an enemy lord. So this is going to be key in taking out the enemy hero, who in this case is he going to be, oh that's right, it's Skrolk Sun Eater. So that'll take maybe, I don't know, a quarter of his health down, and then I have to focus him down with other means. The other thing that he has also is Rod of Corruption, which is going to be amazing. So it only lasts for 11 seconds, but anything within range of him essentially is going to have its health drained down by the sheer just aura and corruption that he has on him. So it's a wonder that he's still here. I think the lore is that his flesh rots off and regenerates at the exact same rate, which is the only way he's still conservation of mass is still in being, but besides that, he's just a rotting piece of flesh that can infect the ones around him. So yeah, he's going to be great as a centerpiece. To back him up, what I also brought is 2 assassins. You'll see me bring these a lot in the Skaven builds because they have, I think it's the Rivalhide Talisman. Can't really click on it here, but essentially what it allows you to do, it's area of effect, and you can reduce enemy melee attack by like 44 or something crazy for about 30 seconds, which is amazing because it'll shut down, I mean, these, yeah, let's take a look at that standard war. Yeah, melee attack of 40 on the Forsaken. So if I pop that, these guys are going to be basically reduced to doing no damage. Not quite sure how the mechanics work exactly, but I can really reduce the incoming damage and allow my Skaven to do just that much more. You also have the headhunt ability on these guys, which can target an enemy lord and bring down their armor, etc. So this is going to really help sustain your main line. To back that up, I have Rat Ogres, which are going to be defending Lord Skrolk. You always want to bring these around Lord Skrolk. He has a fair amount of health, but it's good to have a little bit of a bodyguard there. Then the main line is going to be Stormvermin with Halberds, Plague Monk with Censer Bearers thrown in. Yeah, those guys are going to be armor piercing on these guys. And then the Plague Monk and Censer Bearers also have Contaminate, which drops down leadership. And then I have Death Runners as well. These guys are going to be important for their armor sundering capabilities. So I throw that in the middle. I hit basically all of my different spells, and you have a center that's extremely powerful. It rips out the enemy's ability to do damage. Then you have here armor sundering, armor piercing, get a lot of damage on with these guys, as well as the fact that I brought a Doom Wheel, which is going to be hitting around these Forsaken pretty handedly. And then, of course, the slaves are going to be brought in to kind of guard the flanks and do their thing. So that's enough of slow motion. Let's get into the meat of things. Also with Lord Skrolk, I kind of have a couple different spells. Some of them are going to be just the ability to start raising some of these clan rats. And that's going to be useful in almost any scenario just to do early tying down of the enemy force. So he's just going to raise these clan rats up, and they're going to be here as a preemptive screening force. And that is enough to kind of ward back his Forsaken. The Doom Wheel circling about there with the flag also was enough to see them off and buy myself a little bit of time. Not quite sure how I want to engage this. I don't have anything ranged. Had I had maybe a lightning, Warpfire lightning cannon, could have fired straight into this guy. I started to really mess with him, but it's going to be kind of a rush versus rush build. So let's watch this. So yeah, the good thing I have the clan rats in the center. And I'm going to go ahead and raise another one just to disrupt everything he has going down the middle. So there you go. 2 clan rats are sent up the center, and that's going to tie down and shut down his whole force. Then we're going to get in here with the Plague Monk Censer Bearers, and we're going to go after Skrolk himself. He's going to charge right into the center, but now my Rat Ogres and everyone is going to start to focus fire on him. Gonna put this on slow motion because tons of damage is being dealt on either side, but I did want to start to show kind of what I'm doing here. So Lord Skrolk is down in the center, and he's going to be able to start to pop his abilities. Rival Hide Talisman, like I was saying here, was actually popped on a bunch of units. So the Chosen here down to 0 melee attack. So like I said, they're going to be hitting me with almost nothing. I don't quite know how it works. I don't know if they actually do 0 damage, but that is going to be incredible. Same thing with Kolek. He's down to 11 melee attack, so really stripping away that. He does pop standard die, which is going to help out his guys, but these Chosen are actually going to be taking a fair amount of damage from my units. Skaven Slaves also tearing around the sides. So it's going to be an all-around front line, the hardest and most heavy-hitting units that Chaos can bring to bear against the same for the Skaven. Usually that would favor the forces of Chaos, but we'll see if those buffs can help me out. And the Doom Wheel also going to be seeking its opportunity. On the drive-by here, it does shoot at some slaves. Yeah, it's going to cut into some great weapons, which isn't ideal for me. But I'll disengage soon, and man, look at all this stuff going on here. Yeah, Rod of Corruption, so there you go. Another ability popped to my guys, and these Chosen already really, really low. I also have Pestilent Breath, which is great for once you have these big clumps of infantry, and against the Forsaken also it's going to be really good. So look at the area on that guy. Yeah, you can completely tie down the enemy center with all these guys, and also raising up some more clan rats as well to try and gang up on Kolek Suneater. And look how much stuff I have popped on him. Liber Bubonicus as well, Trophy Head. So that is why he's dropping so quickly. You start off with almost 8k of health, and he is going to be dropping like a rock. We do have some units in the back, some of the little Chaos Warhounds. Gonna run them over with the Doom Wheel. Doom Wheel is always really good to bring. It's hard to tie down, and against anyone who has kind of infantry, you're going to want to bring a Doom Wheel about. Now, if they have halberds or if they have some large cavalry force, then they could probably tie it down. But for the most part, this guy is super helpful. And yeah, take a look at this. My guy's wading through. Pretty awesome. Chaos Knights only just now getting around the back. But that's why I brought these cheap disposable Skaven Slaves, as well as these Rat Ogres. They can come and just tie down these Chaos Knights. So really preventing anything from hitting the back of your front line is going to allow them to carve through the center. More raised Clan Rats going to be helping out. And yeah, I am just tearing through these guys. The Chosen getting 60 kills, decent, but not much overall. And yeah, look at these guys. They got Pestilence on them. And then Lord Skrolk is going to wade in and start knocking about some Chaos Skulls. This is awesome, Mace. And yeah, look at this Chaos Forces on all fronts being beaten back. This is such a glorious sight. You never expect this from the Skaven, but this is a pretty value build that you have here. It will probably die to a skirmishing build. You'll notice I had nothing ranged. My guys were, Plague Monk Sensor Bearers can take a fair amount of damage. They don't have very much armor, so anything ranged probably would have torn through my front lines. High Elves probably would have been able to deal with this pretty handily, especially if they have a bunch of Dragon Princes. Yeah, they could probably knock about my front line and just kite and shoot me to death. But against Chaos, it's a pretty fair bet that they don't have any ranged units because, well, they don't really have any in their roster besides the Hell Cannon. Let's watch some Kolek. Brought low by some filthy rat men here. And yeah, able to see him off. Trophy Heads also popped on him, forced him out of the fight. Yeah, almost no melee attack and no melee defense, so yeah, god, this build is so powerful. Chaos is still standing. Some of their Chosen Warriors up on the hill are very much alive. And we'll see how this goes. Some of my rats are coming in from the back, and it looks like I'm actually starting to lose a couple men in the center. And we are getting a little bit of tanking FPS. Not quite sure what's going on, but the fight will continue. Alright, so as the game continues here, we can see from the overhead, I'm just trying to get rid of the last remaining Chaos Forces, which are in the center, and they're being a little bit hard to get rid of, but Skrolk, with all his magic that he can bring, tons of value from these Clan Rats. You want to make sure you pop them early in the game. At least that was my experience, because you can use them as a distraction, like I said, and then by the time you get to the end of the fight, he still has more and more left. So you want to just continuously churn out some rats and really help tie down the melee brawls here, and use them as defense as well. As you saw me doing, raising them in the rear lines to keep the enemy tied down. And yeah, overall it worked really well for me. And yeah, so this is a build that I would bring against something who's not going to skirmish, and it fares pretty well against Chaos. So now that we've watched this little replay, I do have a fair bunch loaded up. I've been playing a lot lately, and I do want to just keep sharing different ones with y'all. Alright, I found us another multiplayer battle. This one is against a player who goes by the username of Pro Noob. And I've run into him a fair amount of times online. Every time he was doing some sort of cheeky little build. The last time I ran into him, it was a high elf army with all mounted princes and chariots. So I was a little bit wary about what he might bring if he was the dwarves. And take a look at this. This is actually kind of interesting. Pretty cool to see him deploy like this. So what he's done is he essentially has 3 different box formations, or not box formations, but formations guarding different gun emplacements. So the first one is going to be a little bit more heavily defended, and it just has the bolt throwers and a cannon, so he can immediately start firing whatever's in front of you. He's bottled this up with blasting charges, longbeards to soak up anything that's charging up through the front. He also has, who's this, the Lord? Yeah, generic Lord, just skimping on the cost, bringing a lot of units spread around the battlefield, Dwarf Warriors and Corlers as well, or sorry, Rangers actually. So okay, a decent little force in the center, but take a look at this. It is within supporting fire of these bolt throwers, and he even has all of these guys facing around back, anticipating that, you know, whoever he's facing might bring something Vanguard deployed, and he would be ready for that. So this is just a sit and let the enemy come to me type of play. On this side, this is pretty scary. 2 organ guns. I would be pretty scared if these guys were up front. But yeah, spread out like this is going to be pretty powerful. It's really hard to choose where you want to go. I'm actually a fan of this playstyle in the sense that whenever I deploy my forces, I do so kind of staggered, move them around, but I never really like boxing them up. But, oh well, we'll roll with it just for like the theme of the dwarves having different deployments. Like there's different companies operating independently, maybe functioning like Napoleonic armies where they all have to function independently, be able to hold out long enough for the reinforcements to come in. So you're seeing that a little bit on a small scale. So I brought similar type build compared to last time. Oh god, I'm taking lots of damage. But yeah, so it has 2 of the assassins, a mix of the storm vermin with death runners, and plague monk hunter bears, lots of armor piercing, Skrolk as well. I went for a little bit more in the artillery department, both a plague claw catapult and also warp lightning cannon. Going to start to target that dwarven formation, but it outranges me at this point, or is starting to hit my infantry. They start to go after Lord Skrolk, and then also have the 2 rat ogres. But here comes the first couple volleys. And start to melt these dwarves, and all right, battle is on. The problem that I notice here is that, hey, he has, you know, 2 pieces of artillery, way more in the back. So even if I were to sit here and trade artillery fire, he would come out the best and end up defeating my artillery. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour everything in and just charge up through the front. The more I sit back, the more he's going to focus on Lord Skrolk. So I'm going to go ahead and move up. I didn't want to move up into the center, because if I did that, I'd be taking fire of 3 gun positions, whereas if I go for one of the flanks, I'll only get the fire from 2 gun positions while the center is still suppressed. So I think that's a pretty logical choice for me. But anyways, here comes the reactionary Dwarven defense. And meanwhile, as I'm taking all of these volleys here, I'm going to keep an eye on who he's targeting and just make sure that they're dancing so that the artillery shots miss as much as possible. So Lord Skrolk already kind of prances around, and I'm helping him with that. So now I move in, got to pull over with the assassin, just kind of see what I can get done here. Looking around, trying to bait out some shots. And I noticed that there were actually, you know, guys that were up close, and I get a little bit too close. I do dodge most of those shots by doubling back. And yep, so I realized, okay, this is the extremity of the range. I'm gonna pull just out of crossbow fire here. Yeah, so this guy's taking a fair amount of damage, but that's been the one that's been shot at by cannons. So they're kind of foregone at this point. And meanwhile, take a look at this. This is really cheeky. So he's going to pull back in defense, knowing that this position was exposed, and pull back where the organ guns can now both fire on me. Calibrated and sighted. So there we go. I'm going to do a little bit of dancing, but still, man, oh man, does that do a lot of damage. Can't wait till the Skaven have Giselle so I can assault those positions. But anyway, here he comes. He's turning his flank on me, which is going to be perfect for my warp lightning cannon to do a big strike. The center has been suppressed, so time to activate the rat ogres. And then now I'm going to have to duck and dodge with everything. He did get a good volley on here. And he's going to land another one. I really have to worry about this force. Redeploy it. I'm busy microing the units up front. But if he lands a shot here, it could be pretty punishing. And yeah, he's looking to do just that. Rat Ogre is going to try and hit this guy from the back. And then meanwhile, the Assassin is going to be sent to tie down the reinforcing Dwarf Warriors. So here I come up through the center. Really want to suppress this. And he has a bit of a pincer movement. This is pretty smart as well. The dwarves position on either flank just to keep the lines of fire open. The assassin's going to come in here and do a roll right through the center, pull right through the dwarves and get after the gun crew. Chop a couple of them up. That gun looks like the, I don't know, the pin was pulled and it still went off. But at least I have that suppressed. So we're closing the distance. Assassin in here, getting these guys down. So we should be able to shut down one gun position. This gun crew is still firing, but I have this suppressed. And now my rat ogres are in the back line. It's going to be chased away from this lord. But we're going to free up some more of my guys over here. Body slamming into them to free them up. That's really awesome. I need to open up some more infantry to come up here and suppress. The Warp Lightning Cannon going to start to focus fire on this Dwarven Lord. But I'm going to be hard pressed to push through here. He's pretty tanky. So I'm going to try and do is just gobble up the rear of his units and just leave this force for what remains in the end. Yeah, he still has a cannon, but he's within range of my artillery, so I figured we'll trade there, and my guys will go after the rest of his forces. I'm having a hard time breaking through here, although my assassin is doing what he does best, causing chaos in the back lines, breaking this one, coming on through it, and trying to really shut down these cannons. They continue to fire. Rat Ogre's trying to get in here, being slayed left and right. And at the last minute, I'm going to tell them to go after the other gun crew. Let's see if they can smash them. There you go. Please twist those barrels. Make them inoperable. But, oh, yikes, I'm going to rout there with the reinforcements from the more organ guns. So that is a lot of punishing fire. Front lines are finally collapsing, but they bought enough time for the gun crews to even start moving their guys out of the way. So yeah, this is looking kind of dicey for me. And he's going to continue to retreat, fall back to the last position. Lord Skrolk kind of sitting here. This time around, I was kicking myself. I didn't bring the raised clan rats ability. That would have been absolutely perfect for me. Oh, and it looks like I erroneously kind of, used a spell on him. I thought Skrolk was elsewhere, and I popped an ability here, which is really bad for me, so I'm just wasting that. But like I said, I would have loved to have the ability to raise some clan rats right now. Would have been excellent. Raise them here, go after the gun crew. I need a lot more of that. Yeah, I have just, a couple units too few here. We are tying down this force pretty well, but I just need a couple more stragglers to pinch, to slide right on through and kill these guys. But the last of the Dwarven resistance on this front has been overrun. Ooh, actually, let's look at this. That looks really cool. So we're swarming the front lines. Let's pull back to the last Dwarven gun position. He still has some Longbeards. And, okay. Some of these giant ballista. And looks like there's a bloodied lord. Oh, I brought him super low on health. What is he at here? 326. And yeah, it looks like my Plague Monk Sensor Bearers are eager to come after him. But just once they crest the ridge, they're going to be not only shot up by the organ gun, but now Longbeard position on both flank is going to come up and shut him down. Actually, Dwarf Warriors closing ranks. I'm going to have a hard time breaking through this. Doing pretty good in the center, but Lord Skrolk has been focused down by this organ gun. Really trying to do everything they can to take him out, so I'm trying to use a little bit of my own units for cover here. Ooh, God. That thing is like a lord killer at this point. Yeah, that bolt thrower. So I have to keep Lord Skrolk alive, but now we're starting to get kind of debilitating morale. In the center, I have been able to shut down some of his gun crew. Luckily, Skaven slaves being pretty useful here. And yeah, suppress that one, suppress this one. Dwarves are crumbling, but my numbers, like I said, don't quite have enough. This is where I would have loved to raise, like I said, more of the clan rats. Here comes Lord Skrolk, still alive. He's definitely skittering at this point in terms of his health. We'll see if more shots. Yeah, look at those organ guns. Oh my God, if any of those collided, he probably would have routed off the face of the battle. And it looks like he's doing kind of just that, but I'm really desperately hoping that he clings to the last remains of his health because, the center... Its time is numbered. I am closing in on this flank. Skaven slaves and an assassin. There he goes. My warriors are starting to rally. If they can keep the shots off of them, just can punch through. Skaven slaves are going to be forced to hold here. And this lord, dwarfs are pretty low as well. And the assassin is pulling around the rear. He was chasing some other units, but I think I can get him and commit him to this lord. Try and take him out. Should be doing that just soon. Yeah, and these Plague Monk Sensor Bearers also in the rear lines can double back. So when am I going to activate them? I think pretty soon. Really need to pull him into the fight. Meanwhile, my artillery has rolled up finally so I can suppress the position. Okay, there we go. So he's been given the order to move back around and either assassinate this lord or suppress this position. Oh, direct strike. Talking about suppression. That was really good on this force, and the lord was actually scared off by that, so this is pretty cool. Only 2 gun crews here. Dwarves are crushing my guys in the center. So, okay, he has a little blob. And I'm losing out, but I still have a little bit of ammo on my units. So if I can maybe, you know, this lord is gone, keep a couple units alive, keep the artillery alive, and just dance around, I may be able to get their morale to collapse. So we'll see here. Yeah, putting on a lot of damage on those last remaining units. Here comes the assassin. He's going to try and sever all the little mechanisms here, render it inoperable, and kill off the gun crew. It looks like that organ gun is getting ready to fire point blank. I'm a little bit worried. Not quite sure if that connected. That may have shot his own men, I'm not sure. But anyways, we're in the clear somewhat here, at least of the gun range. So okay, we're back up and running. The assassin is wavering though. This is a little worrisome, but look at this. This assassin taking on so many of these Dwarven units that are down to only a couple men left, so he's doing pretty good. Just need to hold them out, and now I have some sensor bearers coming up. They're going to try and destroy this lord. My assassin, just before... oh, actually, he still hasn't routed, but he's going to pop trophy heads on this lord. And now, Plague Monk sensor bearers, if I can close in on the enemy and be able to destroy him and keep this assassin alive, I might be able to scare off the enemy and actually pull off a win there. But he's getting circled up, so I'm going to try and desperately pull him through out of that engagement. Looks like the other assassin is going to meet up with him and help kind of crush this force and then double back. And let my units over here try and kill off the lord. And let's see, he's at 279. We're so close. Come on, dudes. All he can hear is this jittering behind him. Come on, hit him with a good old whack. I guess their speeds are just absolutely the same. This is bad. Anyways, I'm going to escort him off the battlefield, I suppose. Meanwhile, in the center, like I said, assassin still running around, still alive. This one in pretty good health. Dwarven warrior holds out, but in the back, the enemy gun crew is charging mine. I have a fair amount of Skaven still alive, and we're actually going to be able to rout both of these. So the numbers slowly coming in my favor. So if I can land a kill on that lord, all you have left are basically 2 assassins on my side and some pretty low routing guys. So all I have to do, I figure at this point, is kill that lord, draw these guys out of position, and then try and get my gun crew maybe even into the fight and see if we can do a last stand. I even have some more Skaven slaves, so it's the dregs of the Skaven roster here that are going to be alive. But yeah, here you go. He's going to try and pull the organ gun as far away as possible and then turn on my guys. Either that or he's in pursuit, but either way, my Skaven assassins aren't going to allow them to do that. They've caused me enough trouble this time around. These organ guns doing so much damage. Let's actually take a look at this. 38 kills, so not that much on this unit, but it was kind of instrumental in taking out Lord Skrolk and my rat ogres also. But here we go. Oh, actually, and they do manage to get a last little volley. Yikes. And that may just have been enough. So I saw the lord off, and now we're going to engage against the bolt thrower crew. Easy stuff here. So, okay, I have another unit here. I have some slaves around back, and I could perhaps take these guys out. So tide seems to be turning a little bit in my favor. My assassins have committed. They've suppressed this gun crew. But now, unfortunately, the Dwarven warriors are piling in. And in deep numbers. This is where I would love to have one more volley with my catapults, but unfortunately I'm out of ammo. One of my guys does rout. The organ gun is still alive somehow, and I'm getting completely surrounded. So this could be the end for my guys. Plague Monks aren't here in time. And we can take a look at the back over here. We're going to have a little bit of an assault. Longbeards against Warp Lightning Cannon Crew and Skaven Slaves. Not really going to go very well, but the best I can do at least is spread up and commit on all flanks here. Looks like they routed just before they made contact. So yeah, that was a cheeky play from my opponent from the Dwarves to see them deploy like that. A little bit of a bummer to see them sit back, but thematically I wasn't too annoyed by it. I mean, it's kind of fun. I was just, as I said, kicking myself for not bringing the Clan Rat Raise ability with Lord Skrolk. That was definitely a poor choice there, but I wasn't sure. You know, you never know what type of composition you'll be facing. But yeah, definitely bringing Lord Skrolk was a good pick overall in this engagement. You don't want to bring anything like one of the mounted Grey Seers or grounded a mounted guy on a bone crusher, because those things stick up like a sore thumb, and they'll get focus fired by the artillery really easily. I think those would have gone down. Whereas this one, Lord Skrolk, low profile, did pretty well here. And look at the battlefield strewn with the dwarves. I think we did fairly well in this matchup. So that's it for this one. We did do a pair of battles. Hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of the variety. And yeah, stay tuned for more. I have a lot more replays, as you may have seen. And leave your recommendations for the types of scenarios or matchups or even maps you'd like to see me play on. So yeah, let's end the replay now. Take a look at the stats. So yeah, this is scary. When the dwarves outnumber you, it's going to be pretty intense here. Overall, fair amount of kills across the board. Plague Monk Sensor Bearer is doing really good work. Overall, pretty happy with everyone. Even 25 kills on Skaven Slave is pretty impressive. The main one, which was a little bit of a downfall, and that was my fault, was Lord Skrolk. The way I handled him, the way I kitted him out, not very good. But I mean, it was hard to come up against this many guns. He could have just done a huge defense in depth, which he did, but literally he could have had like cannon crew warriors, cannon crew warriors, cannon crew warriors, and done like a whole column of death, and that would have been absolutely devastating. Hard to punch through with this limited numbers. But yeah, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. See you next one. Bye bye.